problem.
In the Philippines, former Mayor Alice Guo is to face justice after weeks on the run across Southeast Asia. Guo faces charges jointly with her associates of fraud and money laundering to the tune of $1.8 million or 100 million pesos. Her so-called sister Sheila and business partner Cassandra Leong were among those charged. Suspicion that Guo is a sleeper agent working as an asset for Beijing have grown. She was found to have the same fingerprints as a Chinese national by the name of Guo Huaping from 2005 immigration records. She also has property ties to Chinese business partners, serving jail time in Singapore, convicted of money laundering using forgery. Raymond, let me come to you. Do you believe Guo is a Chinese spy, or is she simply a criminal?
There's an investigation needs to do, because the mystery surrounding her identity is the cause of allegation of that she is working for China, because she may not be the Filipino nationalities as she claimed, because she still need to really point it out her real identity to explain why the fingerprint match Chinese nationals.
Yeah. Guermantes, what's your view? Do you think she's a Chinese spy?
The courts in the Philippines will determine whether they will punish her if the evidence is sufficient. But it's my opinion that she is ethnically Chinese in the Philippines. The Chinese government, as I mentioned before, tries to control the ethnic Chinese all around the world. And so they have spies in those communities. And people don't get to powerful positions without the express permission of the Chinese government. And so therefore, I would argue that there's a high likelihood that she is directly connected to the Communist Party of China, and she would not have gotten into a public, powerful position without their support.
Right. And do you believe that there are many cases like Guo and like Sun around the world?
Yes. Just in the United States, for example, in the last 10 years, there's been over 200 cases of espionage by a variety of people, not only ethnic Chinese, but also Americans who don't come from China.
Right.
But the majority of them are ethnically Chinese.
But these would be the highest profile to date, I mean.
Right, and don't forget, these are the ones that were caught. We don't know which ones are still operating in all countries around the world. So I believe that the Chinese Communist Party of China had two significant emotional events in their beginning, 1926, 27, and 1936. They were almost destroyed, but the reason why they survived was because of their intelligence network that compromised the KMT, the Nationalist Party in China. So they learned quickly that if they don't have intelligence assets within the community of their enemies, they could be destroyed.
Right. Raymond, after Linda Sun's arrest, there were calls for the expulsion of China's Consul General in New York, that is Huang Ping.
Yes.
Now, the governor's office said, this is New York governor's office, said that Huang had been removed, but then the State Department contradicted that and said that he had actually left because his term was up, and it wasn't to do with an expulsion. And yet, on September 5th, the Chinese Communist Party reported that Huang Ping attended the 2024 Blue Cloud Gala hosted by the Chinese Institute in America. And at that place, he emphasized the importance of advancing China-US relations. So what can we make of all of this?
It is customary that if a certain person with the diplomatic or consular status in the host state was found to be involving espionage, that will be considered as a persona non grata and be expelled. And that happened customarily. For example, between the United Kingdom and Russia, they mutually expelled their diplomats, consular. And also for the United States, what happened in 2020, the closure of Houston's consular in Texas, alleging the Trump administration alleging that's a hub of spies and dens of spies and covering all kinds of espionage activities. And those are clear evidence cases case that expulsion will be involved, or even closure of the whole embassy or a consular office will be involved.
Yes.
But for this case, of course, this one is for more delicate or softer version for the United States to say government to say that that consular in New York, it was considered already removed from her position. It's a softer version of that, but of course, the PRC have a different version of the story.
Right, and so Guermantes, we heard there from Raymond. Was it simply admittance that there isn't enough evidence? Then why not say that?
One story would be that the U.S. administration doesn't want to create a problem, and don't forget that the National Security Advisor just visited Beijing, and so if they had made a big deal out of it, his visit might have been canceled. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is that the governor also wants to appear to be a strong person, and that as a result of discovering this thing, that the consul general was kicked out of the country, and so it sounds